Welcome to another episode of the Shredder Show, and today, absolute pleasure to have one of my favourite clients from Sweden, Parham. So, thank you very much for jumping onto the show, Parham.
Thank you so much, Charlie. I'm so happy that we could do this. Super hype.
And so, we've actually been working together technically with Shredder Nate and like the one-to-one coaching for I think over 6 months now. And when you initially came to me to join the more one-to-one hands-on coaching, like the initial conversation I had with you was so inspiring that I knew like from there onwards straight away that you were going to be a success because you were so happy and motivated and positive about your journey. Like, do you want to talk us a little bit into that? Because I think that's something that is so important when people fall in love with the process, because then it's not just about, oh, I need to lose weight or I need to get in shape. It's about like enjoying every step of the journey, if that makes sense.
Yes, of course. Let's start there. When I jumped on, when I found you to start with, this started on Instagram when I was looking around, trying to find a way to get back in shape. In the beginning of this year, in January, I stopped drinking alcohol. That was one of my first steps into getting back to where I want to be in life, not only in life, but also in my own person, trying to be a better Parham. So I found you, contacted you, and the first thing you did that surprised me a lot was you contacted me personally and gave me a call. And half an hour later, I was super pumped because I've never here so that I can meet between four eyes would do something like that. And with the knowledge you just showed me within that call, I was ready to get the Shredding 8 started. And that's where we pretty much clicked and the chemistry was perfect.
It's good. And one of the things that like I think a lot of people get very hesitant about is they think, oh, I want to go and get in shape. I want to do this. I want to do X. I want to do Y. And there's always almost like some sort of like breaking point or pivoting point where they're like, enough is enough. I need to take action with this. Did you have something like that yourself?
Yeah, let me be a little bit too honest, but let's go. I've had a sickness in my family. My father had cancer like 2.5 years ago. He was sick for 2 years before he passed away, around 6 months before I contacted you. And during these 2 years, just a lot of the personal life and family life just broke down, both mentally, health, my body, just everything. As anyone would react, the whole family react, my body reacted. I started eating bad. I drank a lot of alcohol to just find a way to not think about it. But when I chose to make a difference the last couple of months of 2019, I decided that 2020 is going to be my year. I have to make this change, or else I'm sorry for the bad word, but this could be really bad for me, with the word chosen. So that was the breaking point. I stopped drinking alcohol. I started walking a lot. I put a step count on myself. I couldn't go walk at less than 10,000 steps every day. My first goal. Second goal was starting going to the gym. Third goal was diet. And when I made that happen, I found myself again and the power I had within, but I didn't know what to do with this because I have been going to the gym for like 15 years. I've seen some development, but not on the same level that I always wanted it. And to get a personal trainer here in Sweden, at least, the prices are just ridiculous, and you have to meet someone a certain time. They choose it, and I cannot work as I want. I cannot be with my family as I want. It's just very, very constricted to their schedule. So this fit me very well with the digitalizations that is going on, to do it over abroad with you in another country, but on my my chosen schedule. Thank you. And being able to just write to you whenever I want, get the answers within a couple of hours, if not less. That was perfect for me. Even today, we're still throwing messages to each other just to change some exercises when something hurts less or more. It fits me perfectly. And again, it's on my schedule, no one else's.
That's a very interesting point, to be fair. And I wasn't going to bring this up, but like get me if I'm wrong, you work in digital marketing, is that correct?
One more time?
You work in digital marketing, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm working within sales and marketing within an operator here in Sweden, a service provider within telecom.
Cool. So like one of the things I was going to say that is so interesting is that, like, obviously the situation a little bit more with the COVID-19 situation that's happened recently, but I think the online training model works so well for people when they actually buy into the process, because as you said, like I didn't bring this up, that it fits your lifestyle because you don't have to be booked in with Joe, the trainer, at 4 o'clock every day. You can train whenever you want. Or like if you wake up and you're like, oh, I want to go like a few hours later, it's not a massive chore to rearrange everything. And I think the way the world is going now, that's becoming so much more flexible for people and for things to be on their own time. And also you have the ability to have 24/7 access for support to someone rather than just an hour a few times a week, if that makes sense.
Of course, and it's interesting that you mentioned this as well, because the world has been going through a big change when it comes to simplifying people's lives. So the motto of a lot of people is simplify my life. I want to have my groceries delivered at home whenever I want to. I want to have my house cleaned when I'm not there, etc., etc. So we're going back to simplify your life, and I needed this because I work crazy hours. I love my job, so I don't have any working hours. I work in the morning, I work in the afternoon. I work pretty much all the time if I want to. So if I'm going to go to the gym at 10 or 12 at night, I want to be able to do that and perform perfectly according to a schedule set to myself. And even a little thing that I want to add, to have a personal trainer is also this extra push that I've had so much on my mind today. I don't want to go plan on a gym session for myself to perfection. But in this case, I could just open this app with all of your personal notes for me and my program that do this, or change your feet stance when I'm doing foot stance when I'm doing different leg exercises, personalized to me. And I just open the app and you tell me what to do without even being online or on the phone or even there physically. Again, simplify my life perfectly.
I think it's one of the interesting things as well. We've come on to training a little bit because recently we've gone through a few different phases of training. And one of the reasons a lot of people don't make the progress they're looking for is they keep trying to do the same thing over and over and again. And I think I'm not sure if it's Albert Einstein, it's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So like logically, when you say like that, it's just stupid. So like one of the things we've done recently is we've been training through a lot through different training phases. So I believe, off the top of my head, I think you did the CJ pump series first, and then we've done some push-pull legs training, which was more heavy based. And now we're going into more volume based again with a lot more shoulder focus, which is an area we're trying to bring up. How have you found that, like variations? Because there's always almost something slightly different. And I find that's also a very good way to help you stay motivated.
Well, we have a saying in Swedish that I will not try to translate, but variation just keeps you growing, pretty much what it means. And having that said, I'd never had that before. I tried to have it. I thought I had it by just changing up the reps or the sets of different exercises and changing one exercise to another. But I have never been on this level where I can get so much information and so much help on different programs on 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever have been delivered. I have just got the information of why it is good, how it is good, and what should I do. And also we're going to add it, we can explain more if you want to, but adding the diet to the certain program or where I want to be in life or how I want to look is very important. And just to see this personalization of the exercises and my check-in and login in this application is fitting me perfectly. I can see when we're focusing on my legs are growing massively. When we're going on to shoulders, I have had pain in my shoulders for 3 days in a row now. It's crazy. Another talk that, but it is so good to see that it's easy, and you already have all of this knowledge. And it's, for me, ridiculous to see that it's not only the exercises that you can help me with. The diet you're helping me with a lot, and your team is helping with everyone in the crew a lot in one-to-one coaching. But not only that, we have this well, you're probably going to mention this later, but something that I have appreciated a lot are the weekly check-ins with the whole crew from different parts of the world. It's not only my issues or my questions that are being answered, so I find new questions to be answered. We had this session on just water, on why and how it is good for you. We have had this supplement session as well. We're talking about what is good, or what is good for what kind of training. That is normally the kind of information that you have to Google around and sit around for many, many hours to find out. But you you and your team have this already booked in one time, at least once every week. And outside of that, we have this personal check-in at least twice a week where I can throw my questions on you to just optimize my training. That is underrated in so many ways. I don't ever think that I would being able to do that in Sweden with a physical coach nearby my gym at a certain couple of hours between 8 and 4 or whatever it is. That doesn't work for me because I work at those times, for example. Just live updates all the time whenever I want, whenever time in the day also. So
I think that's what's important though as well, is like, and this is one of the big things that why I push it in terms of with the one-to-one coaching we have with the elite clients, we have these weekly calls twice a week, which are video calls as a small group, because something that's so important is that someone else, Parham, will ask another question that's so relevant to you, but you don't think about it. And I get the same thing. People ask me questions. I'm like, that's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before. And then like, I'll have the answer for it, or if not, I'll find you the answer. And that's when like the real knowledge comes with that, when you're getting the answers to questions that you haven't even come to yet, if you think about it. So it's just constantly accelerating your journey of learning and also getting better results.
Most definitely. My questions have helped a lot of people. Also, not to forget the group that we have together, where we're writing amounts of messages, a lot of messages every day, just sharing information and sharing our sessions with each other and why it is working, why it's not working, how even the consumers, I almost said, sorry, lost for words, but even the other people in the world that are using our program in this one-to-one coaching, we're answering each other's question because we are getting the knowledge, we're learning, we're not only listening, and we can help each other out. And therefore we have pretty much a support that is open 24/7 just by being there for each other.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's accountability, not just from myself and some of the other coaches who work for me, but also from the other clients. We all support and motivate each other. And I know there's a few comments in the WhatsApp group today that people are chasing after you at the moment, Parham, with a couple of decent results that have come in for some new people recently. So like things like that, I think is interesting, because it just adds a fun competitive. I can see you smiling, and I am as well, because it gives us just a fun competitive edge to everything, to like help everyone like constructively push each other on to get better results, which is ultimately what we're all here for. So like just kind of like dialing things back from like how you started and how you first came into everything. You originally joined and went onto the Shred and 8 program, so like
yes,
that works so well as like a starting place for the ecosystems for what I do, because it gives people like a small bite-sized chunks to get started at their own pace and see how they get on. How did you initially find getting into that sort of process? Because I think that's quite an important part of everyone's journeys. You almost need to like take that first step, get some success, and then suddenly you get that self-belief in yourself that you can do it.
Well, you're saying it. I have to go back to one word you used to just connect it to the Shred and 8. The accountability, that word is a word that I love, because I've learned to love it, because accountability has before been a very, very hard thing for me to do by myself. It's only been me and myself at the gym all the time. But getting help and getting pushed by all these people is super important. So going back to Shred and 8 program, when I started it, we're invited to different groups that are going through the same process together. It's an 8-week program where pretty much you get an perfect 8-week program for your body, for your goals. And in my case, we had this half-an-hour interview, and then we went back and had another half-an-hour interview, and we were on the go to start something great. And when you listen to me, hear me, and deliver something that within 2 or 3 weeks can show me a bodily difference and a mental difference, because the accountability again helps me to go back to the gym, that put a routine on my diet, put a routine in my training sessions, and at the same time getting pushed by all our friends in the Shred and 8 group, that just helps you to reach your goals within just a few couple of weeks, which a lot of your customers, also clients, I mean, will see. And just seeing the results, not only the kilo wise, because not everyone is looking for losing 10 to 20 kilos or 15 kilos or even 5 kilos. In my case, for example, I went in to change my life or get back on track, find a routine. I was never ready to go into this longer process that we're in right now. I was happy with the 8 weeks. But when you see the results, sorry.
That longer process, do you think of that initial stage would have been too daunting for you if you said this is going to be 6 months, 12 months? You'd probably almost, you'd looked at it and thought that's too long of a mountain to climb almost?
Yeah, where I was in my life, at least, to put a number like that, 4 months, 6 months, or 12 months even, in my mind, and being able to trust myself that I will not fail, that would be too much for me in the beginning. The 8 week was perfect. It was 2 months of high pressure, both mentally and the routine wise, just changing diet, changing training form, and finding myself when it comes to happiness, when it comes to freshness in life, just energy levels rising. And when the 8 weeks was coming to an end, you maybe remember I contacted you when we're asking, what do we do from now? Because the 8 week program could also be another 8 week program on top of it. But after this, around 4, 5, 6 weeks, somewhere around there, I just managed to push myself through a wall, we can call it, that this is not only 8 weeks of my life. I want to make a larger life change, where I don't only put myself in a situation where I eat perfectly for 2 months every year or 4 months every year. I want to know what I can eat and what I cannot eat, or that sounds stupid as well, but what I can eat and how I should eat to be able to eat what I want, but maybe not bullshit food 4 times a week. So I can both grow mentally, both freshness and just energy levels have to be on top. When I reached that, and you delivered this program, which was again optimized for me, it was an easy choice to make, because I have already stepped through this wall. I have already broken through this hardship of, can I do this? Can I not do this? Am I ready? Do I have time? It was a lot of questions to be answered, which was within half or 4 weeks or 6 weeks was already answered, and I was ready to take this up a notch. And I think a lot of your clients think like that, especially if you listen to the groups and the comments in the groups, etc.
Question for you. One of the words that really stuck out to me, you said there was time, because that's probably like the biggest excuse I think a lot of people make, or they're like, oh, I haven't got time. I do X, Y, Z. And I know you're very, very busy with your work, as you've already said. Like, what would your advice be to anyone like that? Because, like, in my opinion, if someone gives me 3 hours a week to train, and they'll stick to a diet 80% of the time, I'll change their life. Like that. That's all I like realistically need. What would your advice be to someone like that?
It depends on where you are in your life. Honesty is super important when working in this kind of program, I have to say. When the first talk, I was ready to just give you all the information you need, because I was pumped to just be talking to you. And a lot of it could have been pretty much lies if I wanted to. And then I start a program and it just falls apart directly. So honesty of how much time do you have, or do I have? What am I ready to do? How many hours can I focus on cooking, or when can I go to the gym? Are the gyms even open because of COVID, etc.? What kind of exercises can I do that fits me and my life and where I live? First part. Because with your knowledge and your team's knowledge, I know that you have done this for me in 4 different ways, 5 different ways. We have even changed my diet at least once a week in a while back. There is enough knowledge to fit most people, I want to say, if not all. As you said, 3 hours a week or 3 sessions a week could be enough just to take you out of the routines that you thought that you could never get out of. Because when you see the results, it's the gift that gives on giving, and you just get out of your start blocks and want to make more changes. Honesty, most important part here. And when it comes to the mental part, be ready to trust the process, because the first 2 weeks of this program, I didn't see a lot of results, but I was a heavy dude. I was around 100 kilos. And
What do you weigh now, Parham?
I just weighed in this morning. I'm at 86.8 kilos.
So
uh,
13,
and I have one more time.
13.2 kilos gone.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm super proud. And we have to add, I was a big dude, a lot of fat everywhere. And what have happened is not only that I have lost weight, I have gained a lot of muscles. And if anyone wants to know, just throw them my information. I can show them the process by sending them the pictures from the application of the decisions that I made and the kilos that I went up, because my strength levels are higher than they have ever been before. And again, let me just finish out that trust the process, because 2 weeks is not a lot of time. 3 weeks, 4 weeks is not a lot of time to make a life to change your life. But when you start seeing these changes by trusting the diet, listening to the diet, don't cheat on the diet, but also be honest of what you really want to eat. So you, Charlie, or the other team members can throw in these kind of meals or the things you want, like the Cocoa Puffs that are super favoritized in the different applications, different programs. They help you to get through. You have not only a goal to getting bigger or thinner, you also have a goal of having that great dinner with the yogurt or with the Cocoa Puffs. Again, it's something that you're looking forward to when it comes to the diet as well. It's not only the bodily process or the mental process. Those small wins takes you through the first couple of hard weeks that you have to go through to break down the wall. Trust the process.
100%. I think that's one of the things where I get frustrated on behalf of other people, where I can see people, they start a program and then they're not willing to try and change. And these are people who often, respectfully, anyone who's listening, who have been maybe overweight for like their entire life or 5 to 10 years. And like, they're not willing to try and change and do something different to get to where they want to be. And like, the reality is, as I said earlier, if you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're just going to keep going down the same path. And like, the reality is, as you said, the first week or two is going to be like difficult because it's new, and it's going to be like you're having to think about it more. It's not going to be like a habit yet. But once you get into this becoming a habit, and what we want to focus on here is a lifestyle change, that's when the results become exciting. Like, I don't know if Brian, who's also in the WhatsApp group for some of the clients, like his like messages, him and you two, like and actually another one, Tariq, after I mentioned him as well. Today, actually all messaged me, and like every single one of you, I can tell you're excited to like check your progress and check in, and like it's awesome to see, because that like excitement for progression is what comes when you've now achieved a lifestyle change. This isn't a diet, this is now your lifestyle where you're looking to consistently progress, which I think is really, really awesome. Like for you, Parham, one question, what would be the biggest thing you think you've learned about yourself so far, and what's been the biggest like obstacle you've had to face?
Let's start with the obstacles. The first obstacle was I had a really bad diet. I didn't know that, but I really had. And to just start thinking about changing it or eating during the first couple of weeks, at least, the same thing every day, day in, day out. I never told you, but that was one of the things I was really scared of. Well, how am I supposed to cook all of this food every day and still have to work? And I'm maybe not even going to be at home to be able to cook all of this until you learn how to. This is going to sound stupid. I can hear myself already, but cooking all of the things at the same time, just be ready for it. I looked at recipes. I looked at this checklist that you have in the app. I can daily go in and just check all the meals one and one until I reached the last one of the day, so I can see where I'm at during the day as well. Before I've done that routine a couple of times. Now I don't even look at that when it comes to the diet. I look at it the first couple of weeks when we change the diet, and then it gets into my routines. So the things that you have to be ready to do is put time down and just learn what you have to do, understand it, ask the questions that are not answered. You know, I'm super honest with you. If I don't understand why I have to take the supplements you recommend to take, I want to know why and what it does to my body, just to learn. I'm not always trying to say that some things don't work or this and that works, or this kind of diet, why am I doing this? I'm hungry all the time, or I will be hungry all the time, I thought in the beginning. But when asking the question, getting the answers, I learned something and I added into my life. So for example, I thought I'm going to be hungry. I'm running around being full all the time because I'm eating pretty much all the time, every 2 or 3 hours, but I'm eating good. I'm eating the perfect things for me, my mind and my body. Most important thing when it comes to Training, again, we have to go back to consistency. Well, we didn't talk about it, but consistency and honesty, because if I need to change something right now, we're in a period of my exercising sessions that I have a lower back pain that that I needed help with. So if I wouldn't have told you that, I would have walked around with a lot of pain without being able to fix it. I went to a massage place and they gave me some advice, but until I spoke to you and the team, I didn't really know what's going to help me when it comes to my exercises. So just again, trusting the team, trusting the process again and again. I know I'm going to mention this a lot, but I can also see people in different programs that just want to listen, but not really ready to put in the actions needed. Follow it, make it a routine, do it every day, do it to perfection every day for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you're not even going to think about it, because you're exactly like you wake up, you brush your teeth, in the evening you do the same, at work you have your routines as well. It's going to be a routine that sits in your mind, and that's when you know that you have broken through and are ready to take the next step, or develop yourself, or take the next decision, change your program, change your diet. I want to lose more, I want to gain more, whatever is next goal, and reach that plateau and continue with the consistency, learn the new diet that you deliver, and ask the questions that are needed to be asked, so you understand why you're doing what you're doing. A big part of this is understanding everything.
100%. And I think that's one of those things there that often, like, other trainers can sometimes be very funny when people ask questions, almost as if they're like they're being asked if they're wrong. And like, from my side of things, like, ask anything you like, because again, if you don't understand, if you can't explain something, you don't understand it. So that'd be the first thing I say. And also, the more like you understand the process, the more you'll stick to it. You're probably finding that the more you're learning, the easier it is to stick to things, because you understand the importance of sleep and eating correctly, keeping an eye on your digestion, and all these things that people become oblivious to. But once you understand them, they then become, as you said, a habit that you don't even think about, but subconsciously you're aware of, like, oh, I've eaten X, Y, Z. I feel a bit bloated, or that's not sitting very well with me. Maybe I should tell my coach or trainer, because maybe I shouldn't be eating these things. Because like these little things, if you're eating something that's not digesting well with you and it's causing inflammation, and you're eating that every day for a year, that's going to have a knock-on negative effect, which you could get rid of straight away if you're just aware of it and you provide feedback in that respect. So that's some very, very, very good advice there. So start to sort of wrap things up a little bit, Parham. So obviously you've come a huge way so far. What are your goals for the future with where you're at the moment?
Well, it's like the rest of life. My goal is to develop all the time. I cannot tell you if it's a certain weight I want to reach, if it's a certain body I want to reach. The one thing I can tell you, it's I want to keep my energy levels on the levels they are right now. I want to continue loving what I do at work and having the energy to work, because as I said before, I love my job and my colleagues so much. I want to be able to do it more than the normal 8 hours a day, because it's my passion, it's my hobby. I want to be able to work 12 to 13 hours a day, still being able to sleep, having the gym in my life, and also having a good diet without busting anything if I really don't have to. So keeping development in my life, being a better person all the time is my main goal. So what I started in the beginning of this year, for example, was to do something every month that makes me better. This started with the alcohol. It went into 10,000 steps minimum. I'm now on 18 to 20,000 steps every day. And I've done that for a couple of months. I've started to develop my diet together with you. I'm taking 2 to 3 walks every day. My diet gives me energy, doesn't take energy from me. Even if I'm feeling like I'm eating less, I'm full constantly. And something that I want to go back to, that you said, that if the diet, if something doesn't work, I quickly discovered that my stomach gets upset or is calm with different diets. Or if I have my free meal, I know right now what kind of free meal that I will not never have. I'm not going to tell you any names or whatever restaurants, but I know what I'm not going back to even on my free meals, because I know it destroys 2 to 3 days in the future as well. My stomach gets super upset, my energy levels just plummet to zero, and I will not be able to do my gym sessions even if I have a perfect diet the day after, because sorry for the word, but the shit is still in my body and is destroying me. So even my free meals, or going out with some friends and doing whatever I want, eating what I want, I have the knowledge to know what I can choose that I want to eat, but still is good for my body as well. So development is my next goal. I don't know how to explain that differently.
That's awesome. So there's a couple of things I want to say there. One is that that is so important that you've now come to that point. It's exactly the same as I have in terms of I love a lot of crap food, but I won't eat them, not because I don't want the calories, but it's because I don't want to feel like shit the next day. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, which is how I feel, rather than even necessarily how I look. But by feeling better, I will look better, and the two go hand in hand. So I think that's
most definitely.
I think that's incredibly valuable. And I think the other thing I'd say there, like with something you mentioned there, is that one thing I see a lot of people, they compare themselves too much to other people in terms of like progress or whatever. And the only thing you have to do is be better than the person you are today, and just keep trying to get better all the time as you are. So whether it's reading a chapter of a book or trying to do an extra rep in your training session or whatever it might be, just incrementally compound those 1% wins, and then you'll go a long way. So that's very, 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 very wise words to finish up with.
Yeah, I just want to add two things in the end of this as well, because just some things to bring with you or the clients as well that have helped me a lot in the progress is the knowledge of water intake. I really want to put that on the map for everyone. I used to drink around 1 to 2 liters of water every day. I'm up on 6 liters of water every day, and it helps the energy levels. It helps everything, especially during the summer, just to be better person, be a smarter person. Everything in the head works better with water. So water intake, you and your team have taught me, is super important. I will never ever forget that for the rest of my life. And the last thing for the gym sessions, I thought I've been working to failure every time before, because I get tired and I stop. But working to failure in your programs is a whole different thing. So work to failure, guys, whoever's listening, that is one of the greatest keys to success when it comes to growing your muscles.
One last point and question for you, Parham. What would you say to anyone who's sitting on the fence about reaching out for help or looking to change? Because that's quite putting yourself in a vulnerable position, and a lot of the time people are afraid to do that. And once they've done that, and they're a few months down the line, they're sort of kicking themselves that they didn't do it earlier, if that makes sense. What would your advice be for anyone like that?
Easiest answer is take the easiest decision possible. If possible, take contact with your people or yourself for a personal dialogue. Writing on the internet or asking questions in text or writing black on white is a whole different thing than having a proper dialogue with the person that is going to handle your life in the future. You have to tell your real goals. You have to be, you can drop a lot of feelings when you're not writing them, but when you're talking live with someone. And if the time, I know that you and your team put a lot of time in talking to people, but that was the key for me. If I would have write to you and I would get the best answers ever, I would still take at least a month or 2 before I take the decision. But because of the personal connection with you and your team, I got perfect answers, and I could get my ass off the couch and start doing instead, because you're so honest in your replies, because you tell me what I need to do to be able to take the next step, even if it's bring this thought up and think about this for a day, 2, 3, and are you ready to make the difference? Pick up the phone, write to Charlie, write to the team, and make it personal.
100%. It's that's definitely the way forward, and I think that's where a lot of things can sometimes get a bit misconstrued with messaging and emails, and people don't put across their true feelings and emotions. So anyone who is looking for a completely free consultation, just wants to have a chat about where they are, where they want to go, and what's stopping them get there at the moment, if you hit the link below the podcast, there's an application form that you can complete, and then book in a call with me or one of the guys, and then we can take you through a similar journey as Parham has, which has been incredibly inspiring last 6 to 8 months. I don't even know what month it is now. Is it 8 months
Not
now?
counting anymore.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not counting anymore, to be honest. I know that this is going to be a part of my life from now on. So, but it should be around 6 to 8 months. Yeah, somewhere around there.
100%. And anyone who hasn't as well, check out Parham's Instagram stories on a daily basis that he tags me in as well. So I'm a big fan of those, sharing those on a daily basis. It's king of consistency and king of results. So thank you so much for your time today, dude. Pleasure as always. And thank you so much.
Right back at you. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.